3 years ago, two best friends, Lena Morris and Caleb Price, set out to climb the imposing granite walls of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. They never came back down. Their last message? A photo, smiling at base camp. What happened in the next 48 hours would spark one of the most baffling search efforts in national park history. But it wasn't until this spring, 3 years later, that a forest ranger stumbled upon something no one was prepared for. What they found rewrote everything we thought we knew. And now, for the first time, the truth is finally being told. Lena Morris, 29. Fierce, funny, and a former ER nurse. Her heart had been broken in every way imaginable. First by the death of her younger brother, then by the long, slow collapse of a marriage that had barely begun. But climbing, that was where she found peace. Caleb Price, 33. Wild spirit, ex-military, survivor of 2 deployments. He never talked about what he saw overseas, but he always carried a small tin of ashes, his brothers, who died on a solo climb in the Andes. They met at a grief retreat of all places. 2 people running from something found each other halfway up a wall of rock. That summer, they made a pact to conquer El Capitan. 1 climb, 1 shot, no regrets, but what happened next would leave the entire town speechless. They began their ascent on June 3rd, a Wednesday morning. Weather perfect, equipment checked, trail logs signed. But by day 2, the check-in stopped. Caleb's mother received a short voicemail that cut off after just 5 words. We're higher than planned, but the message never finished. Lena's last text? A blurry photo of her face, smiling, but oddly strained, captioned, "Almost there." Rangers assumed delays. That happens. But then a solo hiker spotted something near the southwest face. A torn glove, blood, and claw marks. Not rockslide scars. Not animal tracks. Something else. The kind of damage that looked deliberate, and just when they thought it couldn't get worse. June 7th, 7:42 a.m. The official rescue began. Over 60 volunteers, 4 helicopters, and 2 canine units combed the area. No radio signals. No GPS. No signs of either climber, until they found Lena's pack, hanging from pine tree. Inside were protein bars, a sealed letter addressed to no one, and Caleb's dog tags. But no sign of either climber. Not a footprint. Not a call. Not a whisper. Just wind and silence. Families begged for answers. News vans camped outside Yosemite's south entrance. Rumors spiraled. Bears, cartels, a jealous ex-husband. But the real story was only just beginning, because someone, weeks later, would claim they saw them. Everyone else gave up, but not Rebecca. Lena's older sister, teacher, mother of 2, left her job, packed her bags, and spent the next 2 autumns living near the base of El Capitan. "Something's not right," she wrote in her blog. "I feel her. I hear Caleb's laugh on the wind at night." Locals began to notice her. Rebecca with her yellow journal and long walks up empty trails. One day, she found something odd, a climbing hold wedged into the rock, modern, freshly placed. Not park-issued, not on any known route. She followed the holds upward for almost 300 feet before they just stopped. She reported it. No one took her seriously, until a letter arrived that changed everything. A letter written in Caleb's handwriting. The envelope arrived with no return address. Inside, a photo of Lena sitting in what looked like a cabin, her arm in a sling. Eyes red. Caleb standing behind her, one hand on her shoulder. The GPS coordinate pointed not to Yosemite, but to a remote location 200 miles away in the Sierra Nevada backcountry. Rebecca gasped. The image was recent. She turned it over. One sentence scrawled on the back. "We never meant for it to happen." She drove there the next day, and then they found the photo, a second one, in a hollow tree, and this time someone else was in it. Someone the family believed had died years ago. The third person in the photo was Luke Price, Caleb's younger brother. But he died. That's what the Army told the Price family. But what if he didn't? Investigators began reopening military records. What they uncovered was stunning. Luke was declared missing in Afghanistan, but never confirmed dead. His body was never recovered. Was it possible he'd come back? Disappeared willingly? Could Caleb and Lena have gone to meet him? But what he said next, no one expected. Because Rebecca wasn't the only one searching. A man claiming to be Luke showed up at a ranger station. Disoriented, thin, and he had Lena's necklace in his hand. And what he revealed inside that station turned the case upside down. The man claiming to be Luke Price was held for questioning. He wouldn't speak at first, only said, "We thought the cave would protect us." Rebecca sat across from him, whispering Lena's name, begging him to speak. He finally did, and his story was almost too bizarre to believe. "We found something in the rock. A path not on the map. Caleb wanted to follow it. Lena didn't, but she trusted him. I watched him go in. Only one came back out. Yet in his darkest moment, he saw her face. Because Lena, he claimed, was still alive, and she was waiting for someone to finish what they started." The trail led to an unmarked cave near the northeast cliffs. Inside, searchers found remnants, a blanket, an old flare, a drawing of Caleb and Lena in charcoal on the stone. Then, deep within, they found Lena's journal. Pages torn, smeared with moisture. The final entry, "He's not my Caleb anymore. He hears things in the dark. I can't leave until I know who's inside him." She didn't run. She stayed to help him. He didn't know it yet, but the truth was waiting, and it was far more terrifying than anyone had guessed. A discovery in the National Archives changed everything. During World War II, the cave had been part of a classified psychological endurance program, testing human isolation and its effects. Caleb's military trauma, Luke's desertion, Lena's devotion, all of it led here. The voices Caleb heard weren't imagined. They were echoes from tunnels designed to break men down. But even that truth wasn't the whole truth. Because Lena was never rescued. She had left the cave weeks before the team arrived. On foot, alone, and she left behind a final message. Lena's note was simple. "Forgive him. He didn't choose the war. It chose him. I'm going north to start again. Maybe I'll see you there." Rebecca broke down at the summit of El Capitan, where the climb had begun. It wasn't closure, but it was something like peace. Caleb's body was never recovered. Luke disappeared again days after his release. But the cave? It was sealed permanently. Then she said something he never expected to hear. "I don't want her to come back. Not if she's finally free." But someone would spot her again. 10 months later, on Vancouver Island, a tourist snapped a photo outside a cafe. In the background, a woman with red hair. The same necklace. Rebecca saw it online and cried. She didn't reach out. "If she's safe," she said, "that's all that matters." The photo went viral. The internet wanted answers. But no one has heard from Lena Morris since. And in that moment, everything made sense. Not all disappearances are meant to be solved. Sometimes people vanish not to be found, but to finally be free. And sometimes the ones who stay behind have to learn to live without the ending they hoped for. Lena, Caleb, Luke, they were all looking for something in that stone. Maybe peace, maybe escape, maybe each other. But in the end, they left us a story, one we still don't fully understand. Would you have gone into that cave? Subscribe to Jack's Hidden Stories to hear the stories that still need to be told. Next week, a man returns from the dead. Literally,